want to welcome everybody today that's tuning in. It's going to be a really good show today. They got George Dyer on today. So welcome to the Peg and Geoff with a G show, special home edition with George Dyer. You may notice I cleaned up a little bit in my room here. I used to have this big white bookcase, and my dog came in because he heard that there was a dog on the show, so he wanted to be on the show too. Baxter, come here. You can. Hey. So he just wanted to make a special guest appearance right here and say hello to everybody. But yeah, there was a white bookcase in there, and I took all the contents of it out and I put it on the table in the other room, and you could actually kind of see through the doorway that it's there. So now I have a table of contents in the other room. I need that noise. No? Okay. So Peg and Geoff recorded this a little bit earlier. So when they talk about the coronavirus on there and that, it's from a little bit earlier time perspective they had then. If there's any glitches or anything along the way with transitions and things like that, that is my fault and certainly not theirs. So you can blame me for everything. This is our third trial week, and I've messed up the last 2 weeks, so hopefully we'll have it go real smooth. They also plan, Peg and Geoff plan on being on here to share with posts. So if you want to share some comments and things like that, they should be on to be able to comment with you and say hello and welcome you to the show. Just checking to see if I can pull it up on my phone here. Yeah, there it is. And turn that volume off. Okay. So yeah, they should be available. So without further ado, here is the special home edition. I edited it a little different than it was recorded. So I put the song at the end because I liked the way it worked the first time we did it. And they talk about being corny at the end. And George is just a little corny when he does the song at the end. So stay to the end. You'll see what I mean.
There's no business like show business. There's no business I know. Welcome to the Peg and Geoff show with George Dyer. And of course, traffic will allow. No one can you get that happy feeling when you're stealing that extra bow. This is George Dyer here on the Peg and Geoff show. George, what are you doing in Branson? You were an opera singer. You sang at Lincoln Center.
Yes, I made my debut there in 1996 and traveled all over the world for 14 years singing in operas and concerts, oratorios. But I came to Branson back in 2010, actually the last part of 2009, do a little exploratory testing of the waters. Decided that I'd bring the whole family, move back here.
Why?
Come off the road. Being an opera singer, you have to travel. There's just no choice.
That's right.
And so, being married with 4 children at home, it was hard on all of us, especially my poor wife, trying to raise those kids on her own.
How old were the
I did
kids?
my best. Well, now or then? Then they were, let's see, I think Kendra, our oldest, was 20. Mitchell was 18, had just graduated from high school. Garrett was 15, and Cassidy was 12.
So our daughter Helena knows Cassidy.
Yes, they went to school together, Branson High School.
And George, you said moving back here.
When I moved,
I
I say back because I'm from the East Coast. I'm a Virginia boy, born and raised in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, until I was 20, almost 22. I moved out to Utah, and that's where I met my wife. That's where I began my actual formal studies in voice. I never had a voice lesson until I was 22.
So you're a naturally gifted person in opera. That's a gift because you don't start at 22 and sing the way you do.
And you know what? I couldn't sing like that. My voice teacher somehow, because I grew up listening to country music and popular music of the day, and that's what I wanted to do. I loved the ballads. I loved the stories that country tells, and the down home, heartfelt, messages that they have, about God and faith and family. It's also important.
You wanted to be a country
I wanted
singer?
to be a country
George
singer.
Dyer?
I love country.
Do you have a cowboy
Let's
hat?
get your country.
I do have a cowboy, and I'm gonna love you forever, forever and ever, amen. Yeah,
You can do it.
But I loved Larry Gatlin, the Gatlin brothers, and so when I came back here and they were here, I was like,
Right.
yeah, I was starstruck. But anyway, in spite of that, she wanted me to study classical music and gave me no choice, actually.
Was she just a private teacher?
Private teacher. First voice lesson. She said, "What do you want to use with that voice?" And I said, "I want to sing." And when I told her country music, she goes, "Oh no, you're not going to sing country music." And oddly enough, I didn't hear it in my voice. And even as I went back and listened to old recordings of myself in my lessons, once I started studying opera, I sounded like a pop singer, really.
That's amazing.
Trying to sing opera. But she heard it, and I don't know how, even to this day, but she did. And she was of very strong German stock, and so she was not going to take no for an answer.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Now,
and luckily
this was,
for me, because I needed it.
this teacher was in Utah?
This was in Utah, yeah, in Provo, Utah.
And did you go to Utah to study primarily voice?
No, actually, I moved out to Utah so that I could. I graduated high school and went on a year and a half mission for my church to Argentina.
Okay.
And so, and that really helped learning Spanish, that Latin-based language. That really helped once I started studying classical music, especially Italian opera. But I moved out because I just didn't feel, I knew I wanted to do something with music and didn't feel I had the connections or the opportunities in my hometown to exploit what I wanted to do.
Were you like a star at your high school?
Did you do the shows?
Choir?
You know what? I didn't. I was very shy. Every experience I had in high school was because I had a very strong-willed teacher, a choir teacher.
Pushed you forward.
That pushed me forward. And the first one was in the 9th grade when my choir teacher entered me in the school talent show without even asking me, and put the whole thing together. She put together a band, and we were going to do Dust in the Wind. And I hadn't even heard the song yet. But I realized, by Kansas.
What is that? Who?
Yeah, she's
I don't know.
a showgirl. She doesn't know.
My eyes only for a moment, then the moment's gone. Dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Yeah. And so I'm leaving, ending school. I was walking out, looking as they're putting up the posters for the talent show. And I see one that says, "Come here, George Dyer, sing Dust in the Wind." I went, I didn't sign up for this.
Oh my goodness.
But I knew who did. So I beelined it down to the choir room, and my choir teacher was down there, and she was so funny. And she had the whole group. They were all waiting for me. They knew it was going to happen. Yeah. So she handed me this 45, and she goes, "Learn it." And
She's
so
had
I learned it by
confidence
rote.
in you. You
Yeah.
have to learn that.
So we did, and it was my first year at that school, so I was extremely shy, and because I didn't know very many kids at all. And anyway, after that all changed.
Wait. Did you win?
They did not give prizes, but they saved us for the last act, and we were the only act that got a standing ovation.
Okay, so you won.
But I won the girl.
Whoa!
I won in so many ways. I mean, it was really wonderful. I won the recognition, the respect of teachers that usually didn't even recognize me for anything.
Gave you confidence then.
It gave me a ton of confidence, and it gave me that desire and that drive to, if I can change my, as you could say, stars, with singing, then that's what I want to do.
Was that always your passion?
It's always been a passion.
Okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't anything that, and I always wanted to. It was either that, get this, I always either wanted to be a singer or a scientist. I love science. I love finding out about how things work. And just, I love astronomy. I love, the stars and just anything that just makes me look and think and awe. And wonder.
Were you good in science?
I was pretty good in science, yeah.
Okay.
I also loved history too. That was the third thing, history teacher. Scientist, history teacher, or singer.
That's what was the thing with history that you wanted to
Oh, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be an international diplomat.
Political history.
I wanted to be a test pilot, maybe an astronaut.
There you go.
I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to dunk. I wanted to be able to dunk.
I wanted to be able to touch the rim. And so when I could, I was like, I made it.
I wanted to be Dr. J, but if I could be John Stockton, I'd settle.
Yeah, he could dunk.
Oh yeah, he was from Utah. John
He
Stockton, wasn't he?
played in He played for the Utah Jazz.
That's it. We loved him.
Yes.
George Dyer, our opera singer of Branson. It's not just banjos and hee-haw and
Tap dancers.
let's see it.
There's actors.
Brandon Sister
jugglers,
Shostakovich,
comedians.
Smirnoff. It's also
awesome.
and all the country folk that we don't know much about because we're New Yorkers too. So.
We have one country song.
What brought you to this country music?
Yeah, all my friends in the opera world thought I was crazy.
I bet people thought we were crazy.
They go, what are you doing leaving opera to go to the
Midwest
country music capital?
They thought
And
we
a
were
lot of people didn't know Branson. What's
I know.
that? And then they look at it, well, Branson, that's all country music. And I said, well, it's not really.
in a
But
midlife.
I said, and I'm gonna change people's ideas about what Branson's all about
Good.
too.
Yes.
And but the main reason was for the family.
Yes,
I
4
needed to be
kids.
home, and they needed me as much as I needed them, and also they're very talented.
Oh my word!
And
Your kids are so
they
talented.
needed a venue and an opportunity, I should say, to develop their gifts and talents.
Absolutely.
And coming here, not just performing on the stage in our show. Not just that, but it introduced them. They met people in town and became good friends, and through them, they were able to, start developing their gifts in the way they wanted to. Right?
Yes.
Kendra got into it with some kids that and there's so many good kids
Oh,
here.
and talented
And
kids.
talented.
Everyone's brought up doing
And-
an instrument or singing
right.
or dancing. It's part of life here.
I don't care what anyone
Family.
says. Branson has the most talent per capita for entertainment performing than any town that I've ever seen or heard of. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
per capita,
believe that.
it is impressive, the talent here, and so they congregated with their groups, right?
Yes.
And then they started writing
Yes.
and singing and performing. They do their own little concerts. They would
So
have,
good.
and so they really started blossoming in so many ways, and not just with their talent
Yeah,
artistically,
socially,
but socially,
spiritually,
exactly.
personally.
Yeah, this is a great place in every way. We love Branson.
We love bringing our daughter up here too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm gonna say your wife's voice is like a bell. She sounds like an angel.
I know.
Your
and she's
daughter, your son, you have such talented family members.
So
Like
did you have
amazing.
them
Oh.
performing with you?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Oh yeah, they were on the show. I told them we're going to Branson.
Yes.
so how'd they react? How did they adjust? How did you all adjust? What's the high, low, and unique of the experience?
It was a shock at first. I told them we're doing the reverse Beverly Hillbillies.
Us too. That's what we did. That's how we did.
And
Did they think our family thought we adopted a baby in our midlife.
Mhm.
We moved to the Midwest and we had a midlife crisis. That's what our family thought.
Yeah,
when we
that's
said
probably-
from New York,
Look
moving
at
to
it.
Branson, they're having a midlife crisis. What are we going to do? And then now that they visit, they love it. They go, we
Yeah.
get it. But
Mhm.
no one understood because people didn't know what Branson was about other than
Right.
them mocking Branson on the late shows.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's a gem. It's a jewel
It's a
here in
treasure.
the Ozarks. It really is.
Yes.
And it just pops up out of nowhere.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
coming down 65 out of Springfield, and then you hit the roller coaster, I call it.
Yes.
Those long hills, those inclines. And
The Wee Hill.
I call it.
Wee!
I call it the roller coaster, the Branson roller. And you're like going. I remember the first time I drove into Branson. I was like going, there is no way there is a music town here. There's no way. And then all of a sudden, you come, it opens up, and you're like going,
What in the world?
and then you hit the strip, and you go, this is amazing.
Okay, so culture
Yes.
shock
Yeah.
and what are the specifics of the culture shock of these? What was the roadblock, or what are the things that were materially, emotionally, spiritually? What really hit you hard, and how'd you overcome it? And how'd you?
Well, when we hit the ground running hard because we had a lot of work ahead of us. We had to put a show. We had come here before Kendra and I, and a good friend of mine who was helping me manage the show and start it. And so we were going crazy getting the show up and going, while Clarice was tying up all the loose ends. Garrett Mitchell was finishing his senior year in high school.
Oh, okay.
And so half of the year we went back and brought it back. So we, there wasn't any shock per se because, like I said, I grew up in this type of surrounding, and I'd been in the arts. And for me, it was kind of neat to come back here and see all the different genres of music, all in one place. Everybody getting along, everybody supporting each other, and there's just a real brotherhood, brother and sister. Just this real. Feeling there is among the shows here that we all want each other to be successful, and we, because we all know we're working hard for the same end. Yes. I don't think everybody. I think the people who come to Branson expecting to find fame and fortune, they're going to be disappointed. But you find something more important, right? You find a different type of fortune. Absolutely. Right? And that is
lifestyle.
It is. It's a lifestyle. It's the friendships. It's the experiences that you have. Our kids have they graduated and they've all kind of moved on, getting married and moved away. But they'll all talk and they'll say, "Man, I have so many fond memories of Branson."
Exactly. And performing as a family, like Helena, at 4 years old when we moved here, she's in the show. She's in the show with us, and another family is in the show, and they had a 6-year-old. The 6-year-old singing, Helena's dancing, and those memories are priceless. Parades together, events, what we've done.
Now she's our director of photography, right?
Yeah, look at her back there. Making us all look
veterans events, families got to do together.
That's the thing, is being able to, because Branson's founded and grounded in the 3 F's: faith, family, and freedom. Yes. And that's, I think, makes this place special and makes it a blessed place. And that's why people come here. They yearn for it, and a lot of people don't understand or realize it, but they come back for that. They want to be spiritually fed. That's what it is. Inspiring, because those are the most important things in life. That's where your real happiness is. So anyway, it was great to come back and discover all of that. And there's been highs and there's lows, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's exactly right. That's how it's supposed to be.
And you know what we found when we moved here? The joke was, we didn't have a country song when we were doing our act. We right away got in a show. So Jeff's mother wrote a song. So this is Ramsey. We changed it. So this is Branson. We wore cowboy hats. Helena came clogging out. But it was much more eclectic than we realized. We are Irving Berlin, Gershwin, Cole Porter, Broadway. Yeah. But the Motown, there's the acrobats, there's country, there's now opera, there's magicians. There's a lot of different acts here. It used to be old country. Now it's not. Yeah. Now it's much more widely based with the different skills. So that's what's nice.
Yeah, a lot more offerings for the general public.
Yes.
Something for everybody.
Okay, George, I want to ask you, this is so cool. This from Virginia to Utah to, how'd you get to New York?
Once I started studying, and once I really gained that passion for classical music, then I started looking for opportunities.
How long did that take for you to study and become an opera singer?
Well, I made my debut in '96, so it would have been, I moved out there in, what was it, '85? So I started with the Utah Opera doing singing in the chorus and doing an apprenticeship program, and then and in the meantime, got married before any of that started. My wife didn't realize she was marrying an opera singer, and she'll tell you that.
But she's a singer.
Had no idea. No,
she wasn't a singer either. She's amazing.
She sung, and I met her. We were living in the same apartment complex. And once I found out she could sing, we started dating and everything. I mean, that's not why we started dating.
I want to
but
sing.
And at this point, I had actually joined, auditioned for it, and got into this show group that did like a variety show, and we did some touring, and then we brought Clarice in with us, and but I didn't really earnestly begin my operatic, really started going for opera until we had been married a few years. I'd been studying it, but all of a sudden the door started opening. I joined Utah Opera Chorus, did an apprenticeship program with them, met with a lot of big time people in the opera world that were brought in to do master classes with us. And they're the ones that really helped open the door, because they could see and hear that I had the ability and just needed the time and the coaching and the lessons and everything to develop.
And it takes longer for an opera singer. You're older to come into your prime.
Right, and especially tenors. Tenors, they take a little bit longer to develop. It's just for whatever reason. Sopranos, they're, women in general much younger. They mature a little bit. But for a tenor, most of them don't really start hitting the point where they can start doing it. I mean, generally speaking, they're always exceptions.
Doing the leads.
Till they're like in their late 30s, and depending on where you're going to be performing, you can do some apprenticeship programs when you're younger, as I did. But anyway, in '96, I finally, long story short, made my debut at the Lincoln Center with New York City Opera.
Whoa.
That's
Your
impressive.
debut was at the Lincoln
My
Center?
debut, yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
We're from New York.
Lincoln Center.
Jersey, Staten Island.
It's impressive. Very
Very
impressive.
impressive.
Did your family move with you there, or they were still
No,
in
they were
Utah?
still in Utah.
Did they see you when you opened at
They
Lincoln
did.
Center? Good.
They did. My wife, my mom and dad, who were divorced, but they, and the first time they had seen each other in years.
Wow. What's a big deal?
Yeah,
That's huge.
and my and my voice teacher, who's in Utah as well. He came, and his parents. He's from New York.
And your wife?
Of course,
No
my wife.
And no kids?
No kids.
No
Not
kids.
for that.
That's
Not
hard
for
to
the
bring.
debut. Yeah.
Yes. What did you
They
debut?
came
What
later.
show?
It was Gilbert and Sullivan operetta.
Which one?
HMS Pinafore.
Oh yes.
I was Rafe Rackstraw.
Oh,
Nice.
his
Yeah.
dad was a musician.
He played
and
Gilbert and Sullivan orchestra. All that he did, I saw all of them.
He was a flautist. his
Really?
dad.
Flautist, yeah.
And
Engineer
a lot of
flautist.
people think because of the topsy-turvy
Mm-hmm.
storylines that it's not serious music. It is serious music.
It's no joke.
And genius lyrics. People don't realize what the genius of Gilbert and Sullivan.
I think Stephen Sondheim stole from
Oh, yeah.
Gilbert and Sullivan.
So did Andrew Lloyd Webber.
And those are
Totally.
the big Broadway
Totally
composers.
stole melodies and just you can hear in some of, especially in Phantom of the Opera, you can hear certain themes from Gilbert and Sullivan.
Interesting.
Depending on, I'm trying to think. I think it was Pirates of Penzance. But
Yes.
regardless, Arthur Sullivan was a serious composer, and he wanted, and he thought that it was demeaning to him to write music for this kind of stuff. But he was so successful and it became so wealthy doing it. He did it. But he actually did write some serious stuff.
Wow. It's like
So
the early
anyway,
days.
yeah, and so it's serious music, and so I was grateful for that opportunity. I did a bunch of Gilbert and Sullivan.
How
But
long
then
did
that
you
opened the
play,
doors.
may I ask, at Lincoln Center? How long was the run?
The run was for, and we did everything in repertoire, and I did that, plus I did Brigadoon,
Oh, great show.
which was an amazing
Yes.
experience because we brought in stars from 3 different arts.
Who's like
Well-
the most famous song or two from Brigadoon? Because it had unbelievable
Oh,
music.
Oh, there's so much good. Lerner and Lowe, you had the Heather on the
How's that
Hill.
go?
But when the mist is in the gloaming and all the clouds all unstill.
Yes.
That is it. Without I won't go. This wasn't my role. Roman in the heather on the hill. Come to me, bend to me. There but for you go I. I'll go home with Bonnie Jean.
Yes.
Oh,
Just some great melodies.
Yeah.
It's-
Fred Astaire did the movie, didn't
yes.
he?
No, it was Gene Kelly.
It was Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly
how
did
could I
it, yeah.
forget that?
And,
That's right. That's right.
It just, yeah. So anyway, so I did that with Broadway stars and stars of the New York City Ballet, and it was an
Amazing.
exciting time because
Yes.
all of us are looking at each other's, discipline and
skills,
think
yes.
and so much awe
Yes.
and respect, and not realizing it until we're all talking together like, you are so amazing. You're
Yes.
amazing. No, you're
Yes.
amazing.
Right.
And just that mutual respect of the effort, the
skills.
work that goes
The
into
skills
and
developed.
the synergy that was brought together and putting that production on.
Yes.
It was
Oh.
amazing. I'll never forget
Yeah.
that.
So
Special
why
moments.
did you leave New York to come to beautiful old Branson?
I came to
Missouri?
Branson because, as I said, I had a family, and I felt, when you hear that voice speak to you and tells you where it's time, where you need to go with your life. And sometimes if we don't listen, then the Lord will make things happen that kind of forces us to do.
Where did you live in New York? Where, local?
I lived in Manhattan, in 207th and Broadway, Inwood, the Inwood
Oh
area.
yes,
First.
we
Yeah.
have a lot of friends. We were Upper West Side most of the time.
George
Chelsea.
Washington Bridge area,
Yeah.
north, and a lot of strong apartments, so you can sing. It'll make a lot of noise. And
Yes,
knock out the
yes.
neighbors.
Exactly. Those
Yes.
words.
Cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you ever rehearse at the Ansonia Hotel on 72nd Street? Because that was a big rehearsal studio that when we were coming up. We
I may have,
Broadway shows.
or I may have done. I may have done an audition or two.
Yes,
there.
a lot of auditions
Yeah,
were
a lot of
there.
companies
Yeah.
will come in and buy rent spaces to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of opera singers were there at the Ansonia.
Is
I
that-
remember if I'd have to go on auditions, I rehearsed Grease there, but it could be intimidating. Broadway singers, opera singers are like the epitome of what a singer is. And that's what I always told Geoff. I really want to be an opera singer. I do. Opera is just so, and you do it so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
Truly.
You could be an opera
Thank
singer,
you.
hungry.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
It's never too late. That's my philosophy.
Sing opera or tap.
Or to tap.
Yeah.
He's learning tap, and we're working on opera. There you go.
There you go. Okay, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we are coming out of this COVID-19 coronavirus shutdown. Health-wise, people are doing great around here.
Right.
But we've been, like the rest of the country, we've been shut down. One person died in a radius of like 60 miles, and very few people got the virus at all
Here.
around here. We're from New York, New Jersey, so we know people who have passed away, so we don't take it lightly. But it's been a different experience here. So George, just tell us how you've handled it and what, has it been challenging?
Well, it's been challenging in that we've had to put off the opening of our show.
Yes.
And obviously that affects our income, but whenever, what's the old cliche? Whenever one door closes, another door opens, and
Lemon out of
things
lemon.
just do. Exactly. You
Lemonade
have to
out of
find,
lemons.
right, you find the positive in any situation. You can thrive in any situation in some form or another. And it's I was talking what I've been doing to earn money during this shutdown time, and it also, I had 2 cruises canceled, an oratorio in Minneapolis, a concert or a show down in Hot Springs. So it's really affected financially my bottom line. And
You were going to China.
we were going to China and then to the British Isles.
It was a good thing it was canceled.
Yeah, probably so.
We would not be here, possibly.
No. So I have been actually on the side, even before all this started, I had been doing rideshare for driving for Lyft and Uber. And then for some reason I decided to start doing food delivery too. I thought, and this was before the thing hit.
That's some friends here.
Yeah, because I've been
DoorDasher.
doing like Uber Eats, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you can do both
okay.
Ubering and Uber Eats. I was able to do that. And as I was doing a delivery one day, doing a pickup at one of the local restaurants, I saw a couple of other names on. Oh, I said, which one of these are the most,
Lucrative.
yeah. And they said, well, this one. I went, okay. So I downloaded both of the apps actually and started driving for them. And what a blessing that was, because as the ride shares now have dropped down to almost nothing,
Right.
but the food delivery has gone off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have just been delivering and doing very, very well. So the Lord's blessed us that way. He sustained us through all of this. We're supposed to open our show. I don't know when this is going to air. It may or already open by the time this airs, but on the 15th is when they're opening the theater, and our first show will be the 19th of May.
Good.
So we're going to open it up to, I don't know, 2 people.
25%? How are you doing it?
I have no idea. Yeah, we're doing that. We're still the social distancing protocols will be in effect. Yeah, please do. Please do. And we'll let you sit together.
You can do that.
Yeah.
The police will show up.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: in the few rides that I've given, I've had some really good conversations because the topic of conversation is the effects of this, what it's doing to our economies, and a lot of times we always focus on the negative, but we started focusing on what are the good things that have come out of this. And this gentleman said, "You know what? I see families together, spending time together, and being forced to, like I said, sometimes we can either listen to the voice or the Lord will create the situation where we have to do things a certain way. And you know, people are recognizing that it's not the rat race. It's not about how much money you make. Your true happiness and fulfillment in life is going to come from your family. The time you spend with them, the relationship that you develop and create with them. And this shutdown has caused families to be together and work through, and I'm sure it hasn't all been pleasant and fun and games. I saw a meme this morning. A man had written on the side of his car, "You lied. My child is not a pleasure to teach, or is not a joy to have in class." That's what it was. Child is not a joy to have in class.
That's funny.
It is. But people are finding that, and I think they're being drawn closer to God. And it's making us take a pause in our lives and find out what is important, and it really is God and family.
That's right.
And our great country and the freedoms that we get to enjoy. So that, I think, is one of the great things that's come out of this terrible, terrible situation that we're in.
Do you know what, George? You just said something that just triggered. All right. I had the opportunity to sing the Americana medley with George Dyer when we hosted GC Resorts, the condos week just before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we're going to start that and Jeff's going to do a harmony. This is winging it here.
Oh, okay. This is winging it.
Okay,
see if I can remember.
I know. Okay. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's the key.
A Yankee Doodle do or die. A little over me. A real live nephew of my Uncle Sam. Born on the 4th of July. Got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart. She's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride a pony. I am the Yankee Doodle boy.
Yeah!
Yay, you did it.
Good.
She kept their melody.
I did.
There you go.
Okay, good. One more thing before we end.
Yeah.
I'm going to, you can turn it on.
Oh, it's still.
Oh, okay. I went to a Catholic school. We had a quote for the week, so I love quotes. So I'm going to give you a quote, and I thought, this quote came to me, and I thought, okay, this is the quote for George Dyer. Power is not necessarily purity, but purity is sheer power. What does that say to you?
It says to me in a spiritual sense that power is something that is a privilege, it's a gift, and when you are given it for whatever reason, it needs to be respected. And I think the greater the power, the greater the humility, and the greater the service that you need to give. In other words, use that power to bless other people around you, to lift other people up, to minister however you can, whatever you can do within the I guess the auspices of your power, whatever powers you have, use that for good. Don't let it go to your head. Don't make it think you're special, because literally, as Christ said, he that is greatest is the least.
That's right.
And what a great example he gave when he washed the feet of his apostles and said, do you likewise.
And as you humble yourself in the sight of him, he will exalt you.
Yeah, and greater power then is given because God trusts us. Now he knows that when he entrusts us with a certain amount of privilege and power and opportunity, that we'll do the right thing. And because we'll listen to him. And because power is given from on high for us to bless God's children. There's a purpose for it.
Amen. Let's have the George Dyer.
There is power, wonder-working power in the blood. There is power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Thank you for coming to the Peg and Geoff Show. It is God and Country.
Yes.
With George Dyer.
Thank you. It was fun, you guys.
George is the best.
Yeah.
The best opera singer in
Listen, I
Branson.
know I look really corny, but it's because I've been with her for a long time. I just feel like really cool. George feels cool. He's pretty corny too. He's awesome.
Corny is good. Corny is good.
If you
There
ain't
you
corny,
go.
I'll come to Branson.
There you go.
God bless.
La donna immobile, qual piuma al vento, nuta d'accento e di pensiero, sempre un amabile, leggiadro viso, in pianto e in riso, e menzognero. La donna immobile, qual piuma al vento, muta d'accento e di pensier. E di pensier. E di pensier.
Dyer, welcome to Branson.
Hey, thank you, grazie, maestro. Grazie.
Peg and Geoff Show with George Dyer.
George Dyer.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, I saved that song for the end because they talked about being corny just before they did that song. And again, this is the Peg and Geoff Show. Geoff with a G, with George Dyer. But I thought he did that song in a little bit of a corny way, so I saved it for at the end. So pleased and entertained and inspired by these shows that Peg and Geoff put together. They did it in their home, early on with the coronavirus, and now they're working with Axe Media Groups doing it. They're traveling right now, so we had these home editions that we were able to share. And isn't it neat to see, sometimes people think that some of the entertainers around us that are extremely talented, like George, might be making money hand over fist because you see them up on stage or, know their name or something like that. You don't expect them to be driving for Uber Eats or something like that. But what a very extremely talented, humble individual with a focus on God and family, and just hope everyone was encouraged by that, because I certainly was. Look for another one next week. Love you guys. Bye.